What's up, guys? My name's Easy. I decided to start a YouTube channel. This will be my first video. My content's going to revolve around guns and shooting and just wild shit like that. Starting out, I am going to do breakdowns of builds that I've done, stuff that I have built out that I like, that exactly how I wanted it, and why I went with the stuff I went with, why I didn't go with other stuff like that. We will probably go off and get into also doing like some gun show content. Probably do some gun reviews on if I buy something new. I tell you if it's good or if it's shit, and to save your money or if it's good enough to buy. So starting out, that's what I'm gonna do with my content, and we might get into some other stuff like that. So starting out, what I wanted to talk about was lever gun builds. So as we all know, tactical lever guns are the new thing. Everybody's getting into them. Everybody likes the way that they look and stuff like that. And I've wanted one. I've been into lever guns for a very long time, and I knew I wanted to go off and build one. We'll show that we're all clear there. But so this is it. This is the lever gun that I have just now finished. It's been I've been done with it for a little bit of time, and I've just been testing it out, seeing how I like it and stuff like that. So we'll go over it. All right, so I have some opinions on what I think about new lever guns and old lever guns, and I'll tell you right now, I think newer lever guns are shit. I don't care for them. That's probably why it's took me as long to build one as it has. When I decided I wanted to do one, I knew I wanted to go with a older style or an older lever gun, primarily off the metal quality. That's the biggest thing, is the metal made 30, 40 years ago is way better than the metal we're building our rifles out of now. Now, I'm not talking about precision rifles or anything like that. I'm talking about if you go to buy a factory lever gun, the metal quality is not the same as it was 30, 40 years ago. I mean, look at automobiles. If you go off and bought a vehicle or have a vehicle from 30 years ago and you put it against a 2025 vehicle and get into a collision, I mean, it's just going to smash. So that's why I went with an older lever gun. This started out as a 1975 or 76. It was made in 1976. Marlin 336 and 3030. It started out as a wood stock, blued receiver, barrel, all of that, and it was 20 inch. So I ended up picking this gun up for $650 at a gun show, and I said, all right, there, we're gonna go ahead and go with it and do it now. So I knew that I wanted to go off and run suppressed. I run suppressed on everything. I don't own anything that I can't suppress other than maybe pistols and shotguns, but on my rifles I have to be able to run suppressed. So I knew we were going to cut it down, and I wanted to go with 16 inches, and then I knew I had to find whatever furniture I wanted to go with. So first thing we did was, as soon as I got the rifle, I said, all right, time to get my furniture. Now, I've looked at Midwest industry stuff, and I can't pronounce the other name, Shesley or Chesley, however they pronounce it, I don't know. But I went with, and then I came across the Ranger Point Precision, which is the primary brand that everybody buys. But the reason I went with it is a couple different reasons. One, I like the way the furniture kit looks. The other ones, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're a little more rounded, squared, and everything like that. And I wanted to go with, or rounded. I wanted to go with more of a squared look, just because lever gun receiver is more square. On top of it, also went with them because, if I am not mistaken, from what I've seen and everything else, and a couple buddies have bought the other brands, you can't adjust up and down. You can adjust this buttstock to fit you how you want it to, as far as up, vertical, up and down. So that's why I went with this. I also went with it for the simple fact of it, for just the furniture kit. I mean, not the extra stuff that I went with. We'll get into that, but I mean, it's like $495, I think, something like that, like under sub $500. And I mean, then you do get into a little bit more money. I went off and spent like $60 on my round holder, maybe another 50 for the upgraded mag feed, and then this is a Ranger Point Precision lever, but we'll get into that in a minute. So once I got my furniture stuff minus the lever, I called around to multiple gun shops, saying, or asking, if they would be able to do it. I knew that I knew that we're cutting it down, so I knew I wanted to go with a different color anyways, because I knew I wanted the green furniture kit, and I don't think that your blue ink or your Cerakote black or your stainless, which you can't get an older one like this in stainless, but I don't like the way it looks with the green. So I knew I wanted to go with a different color, and I was like, I want to go FDE. But so I called a couple shops and first started off with, can you do it? Almost every shop's like, never really done it, don't want to. Some shops said they didn't know, they've never done one, they wanted to do it. Then there were some who were like, I just don't want to mess with it. Me personally, it's my money. I'm not going to send my firearm to a shop that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. I'm not. Because then I got to try to hunt another one of these down for them to buy. Because we'll get into it later, I'm not going to buy a new one. So then I ended up finding a shop, and the guy's name is Vic. Really kick-ass dude. I mean, just will do anything for anybody for the most part, is the vibe I got from him. But he owns Blackside Gunworks. And I'm going to give him a shout out because this gun turned out exactly how I wanted to. He took the extra steps. He was not going to let me pick up the gun if it wasn't exactly perfect. And that's what I wanted. I wanted somebody who was going to be like that. So ended up calling him, and he said, yep, bring it in. I'm working on one myself, but I ain't really got time for it. I like to deal with my customer stuff over anything else, so bring it in so I can build, fully build one. I said, all right. So met with him. I told him I wanted to cut it down to 16 inches, shorten my mag tube. I told him that I needed to get a bigger lever. He said that he would find one. And I told him I wanted to Cerakote it. FDE, but I didn't want an FDE that everybody else had. I wanted my own FDE mixture, whatever. If he couldn't do that, then it just wasn't going to work for what I wanted. And he said, I'll blend colors together to give you what you want. And you can't really see it in the video, but it's not a standard FDE, and it has a metallic finish. It's fucking sick. It turned out exactly how I wanted it to. I told him exactly what I was looking for. It turned out like that. So we did that. I also told him that I wanted, if possible, to delete the front barrel band. I do it like that so you can see it. I told him I wanted to delete the front barrel band because this being an older rifle, and they still make models like this, but this being an older one, you have your stock barrel band, and then you have another barrel band up front. So I think that looks fucking hideous, and did not want that. And I told him that was like non-negotiable, that we had to figure out a way on that, because that's what I wanted. And he said, absolutely. I think they look stupid too, and I'll go off and we'll make some up. So he ended up milling out a piece to go inside here to where you only have the barrel band for the Ranger Point Precision, and this thing's tight. It doesn't move. It's like it was from the factory as far as how stiff it is and everything else. So I said, all right. So he took my gun in, and I thought we were just doing barrel and receiver. He ends up going off and doing my rails back here without even asking, which I'm glad he did, because I would have left them black. And then after seeing them done, I was like, damn, I'm glad he made that decision on that. So he also, we front sight delete, we also done a rear sight delete, and he hit me up. We had a little bit of an issue. The Cerakote didn't turn out. It ended up having some imperfections, and this is where I go into, I am a very particular guy when it comes to my stuff. If I beat my shit up, I don't care if I scratch it or anything like that. But if I go for a product to pick it up, and I say this because I've had multiple things done as far as Cerakoting, and I go to pick it up and it'll have blemishes and stuff, and that drives me absolutely insane, considering most places just to Cerakote a bolt gun or a receiver set for ARs is charging you $200 plus. And so he called me, found a spot on it. He said, I don't like it. I'm not gonna let you pick it up. It's my name on it. I was so happy with the fact of the work that he had done and everything else. I told him to put his logo in the rifle. He said, I don't typically do that for guns that, you know, aren't mine. And I was like, I insist. I want people to know that you built this rifle. So we went off, and he re-Cerakoted again for the second time. It turned out exactly how I wanted it. He slapped it back together. I picked it up. He charged me, I believe it was $400 to $450 with him buying the lever, installing everything, milling it, everything. So I'm roughly in the gun without any other gear. I was in the gun roughly just for the machine work and buying the gun, in the gun, $1,100, we'll say. And then I had another $600 in the Ranger Point stuff that I did buy, so $1,700. Now I say that because we're going to get into something else here in a little bit on why I went this route. Next, I knew I wanted to go with a LPVO. I am a huge Vortex fan. I think they make some of the best products out there. I have never really had a problem. I had one scope that we crushed that was on us, that, you know, wasn't on Vortex, or the quality of their material or anything. It just a shitty situation, and it messed up. And sent it back, no questions asked. They sent me a brand new one. And for someone who offers a warranty like that, I'll stand behind their product. So also knew that we were going to run a red dot on top. Any type of rifle I run, if I'm running a scope setup, I'm gonna run a red dot. So I went with a Hollison 407C. I don't care for the 507Cs. I'm not paying the extra money to be able to have be able to go from a dot to a circle to what all the other shit. I care less. It's not worth the extra money for that. Dots work fine. They've worked fine for people for tons of years now. So that's what I went. I decided to go up top. I used to be a canted guy. I love my dots or irons on the side, so I could simply just rotate as far as that. Over time, I have watched multiple people and different videos and stuff like that, and I will say, now looking at it, it's a whole lot easier for me to go off and just pop my head up from here to look through my dot. One, you're going to be more accurate than canting it. Two, it's not as uncomfortable. And I mean, when you start shooting bigger calibers like this, I mean, if you're not positioned right on your shoulder, it sucks. So I changed to going to the route of running all mine on top. I've switched everything to on top, and that's how I run my stuff. We went with I went with a dead air muzzle device. I go with dead air primarily because I like their quick ups. As far as how they, you know, a couple twists, you're locked in. I do not buy suppressors unless they accept that hub. That's the only way I'll buy a can is if they accept a dead air hub. Yes, I pay an extra $200 for the hub, but to me it's worth it just because I know that no matter what can I grab, I can slap it on anything that accepts it. So next we'll get into that. So when I first started this build, I went with a Yankee Hill Resonator K can. That's probably the biggest piece of shit I've ever bought in my life, and the biggest waste of money I've ever bought. It does not work worth a shit on anything I own other than a 300 blackout, and I'll be honest, it could be a whole lot quieter on a 300 blackout as it should, especially me shooting subs, but it's still very spicy on a 300 blackout. So I instantly regretted that fucking decision and wish I never would have bought it. Now I'm stuck with it. Is what it is. Yes, there's ways for me to go off and someone to do the paperwork, buy it off of me. It is what it is. It's not worth the trouble to me. I'll just keep it. The son bitch can rot in the safe for all I care at this point. So then I had to go another route. So I went with another 30 cal can. I primarily buy 30 cal cans just so I can use them on a bunch of different things. So I was gonna buy the Silencer Co. Self, something like that. I can't remember the exact name right this minute off the top of my head. I'm having a brain fart. They're like $1,000, 1,000 to 1,200, something like that, plus your tag stamp. And I was like, well, I really don't want to buy this can and be stuck with it and have $1,000 invested in it and I'm not happy with it. So my local gun shop had that can and this Otter Creek polonium or however you pronounce it. However you pronounce it, I'm dyslexic, you know, I can't read worth of shit. So he was like, man, this can's half the price and it's same specs and everything, is for the most part. I mean, there are some variants, but same baffles, same length, all of that. He said, buy this, that way you're not out all this money, and if you don't like it, you know, it is what it is. So it's a whole lot easier for me to drop $500 on something and not be happy with it than $1,000. So that's why I went off and went this route. This can works absolutely phenomenal on this rifle, dead quiet, especially when you're shooting subs. So when you're shooting subs, I mean, it's like a 300 blackout with a can and subs. So it's damn quiet, and I couldn't be happier with it. I'm gonna end up buying. He said, because the Silencer Co. would be better than this, but if I was happy enough with this, then I wouldn't care to spend the money. So I am gonna end up going with a Silencer Co. can, which I have some of their cans, but not that particular one. So I went off and, but I'm gonna end up buying some more of these too. I love this can. I'll end up buying a couple more just so I already have them mounted on. This can is pretty much designated to this rifle. And sorry if I keep taking my hat off, wipe my face. It's hot as shit out here. It's like 90 degrees. So next, light setup. So I went with a Streamlight. I was in the mechanic industry for years. That's primarily all we ever used. I've never had a problem out of Streamlight. I do have some Surefires, so I can speak on both of these, and this is my opinion. I'm sure someone's gonna say you're full of shit, you don't know what you're talking about, blah 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 blah. That's your opinion. This is my opinion. I gave like $160 for this one, HD I think, or HL or whatever, with pressure pad, 1,000 lumens, $160. Now, for the money, well, I'll put it this way, I don't think I'll ever buy another Surefire light. I just don't think I will, because I have a couple of these and I have a couple Surefires, and for me, I was all about the hype with Surefire for a long time. I ran their pistol lights, their rifle lights, and stuff like that. But for me, you're spending $350 plus for a Surefire light that is going to be 350 lumens to 700 lumens. You know, anywhere from 350 to like 450 for lower lumens. And then I gotta spend another $200 in cap and a switch to be able, a pressure pad, an extra 200 plus to be able to do that. It's stupid as shit. I'm not gonna spend that kind of money on a light, especially for me to get 1,000 lumens. I gotta spend $500. So now I'm in a light $700. I've beat the shit out of these. I've beat the shit out of these stream lights. Never had an issue. I mean, you can see there's dirt in here and everything else where we'll do a couple drills or something and, you know, just mess around with it. But I got other ones that I mean, they're pretty much all aluminum color now because they've been beat to shit so much, and I've never had an issue out of them. So for me, they're close to the same quality. I will say that I like how Surefire's mount. As far as their scout lights, they are a little slender compared to the stream lights. And I like the fact that on their longer models, you know, their mounting point is closer to the cap. So, you know, you can get your light out there a little bit farther compared to a stream light. They're dead in the center. And pretty much at the end of your M-lock, you know, that's where you're held to. You can't go any farther. So they don't really extend out much. So Surefire lights are way sexier than a stream light, but you know, I'm not gonna pay that kind of money for a Surefire anymore. I don't think anybody should. That's my opinion on it. It is what it is. So I believe that is everything. Oh, and we have a hand stop here. It's like 60 to 75 bucks, I think. Nothing serious. The rail mount underneath here does not stay on this gun. This is purely just for the video. So that's what we have. So now, with that being said, I'm going to go off and tell you why I went this route. So like we said in the beginning of the video, now, could I have bought a new Marlin, Henry, Rossi, all the lever gun companies? I could have bought new, right? And already had threaded barrel and whatever else. But we're not going to get into how this gun started as far as, you know, if I wanted to do all of this, if I had to do all of this, I mean, yeah, I paid $650 for this gun. You can find these older lever guns for $650 all day long at gun shows, right? You know, in the 70s and 80 models, stuff like that, even 90 models. But these, you know, newer rifles that are like that, you're paying $850. So I'm already paying $250 more. Yes, it's a newer rifle, but shittier metal, 100% shittier metal. It's not the same quality as it was 30 years ago. But this gun acts the exact same, functions fully the exact same. And on top of it, it's made it this long. These are still around. So they last. Now, don't get me wrong, a newer one is gonna be, you know, in 30 years from now, I'll be saying a 2025 model, this is way better than the models they make now. That's just how it's gonna be till the end of time. But for me, I wasn't gonna spend $850 on one brand new and then cut it down and do all of this to it. I would rather just buy this. But then at the same time, I'm not gonna buy a brand new one that's, you know, their trapper model, stuff like that, all the different, you know, already down to 16 inches, threaded, all of that. I'm not gonna spend $1,500 on one of those. I mean, they range from like $1,300 to $1,800. I mean, Marlin's got one for like $1,800 bucks. So for me, you look at it and you're like, okay, $1,500 for a brand new rifle that's already 16 inches and threaded, right? Well, for me, I don't like, you know, blued guns. They rust. If you leave them in the safe, they rust. I like doing I like having Cerakote stuff because it's a better protection. I mean, and that even goes for stainless. If you leave a stainless gun in, you know, moisture environments and stuff, it's eventually gonna get rusting on it. It's gonna happen. So I like doing Cerakote. So if you do the math on it, and we'll just do it like this real quick. Bought the gun $650, had all the work done to it for we'll say $450. So I'm in at $1,100, and then I went off and threw Ranger Point Precision stuff on there for another $600. For another $600. So now I'm in at $1,700. I'm only $200 more than a bone stock rifle that I would want to Cerakote and everything anyways. $200 cheaper, right? But then if you go into the Marlin Dark Horse or whatever it's called, you know, it's got a rail out front, looks like shit. So you would want to change it anyways, but you go off and put Ranger Point Precision stuff on it. I mean, you're already sitting at $2,100. And it's black, and I don't want it to be black. I want to change it. So for me, I got a better quality gun, better metal, functions the same. It's been around this long, and you can't count in the accessories just because it's going to be the same price across the board. As far as across the board, it's going to be the same as if you was to buy new or old. I mean, it's going to be the same. So, but if you was to break it down, what I would say is if I would have just put the wood furniture back on here, but had it cut down to 16 inches, a big loop, which some of the newer tactical versions, you know, with threaded barrel, when I say tactical version, I'm gonna say threaded barrel 16 inch, right? Most of them still don't come with a big loop. You know, you want to have a little bit bigger loop on them. So, but if you go off and just take into, if I would have put the wood furniture back on this, I'm in at $1,100. I'm in at $1,100, so I'm cheaper than what I could buy new for, and it looks better. So, but if you break it down on, and we'll just say, because majority of them, as far as Henry, Rosin, all them, for you to get a 16 inch, and we'll just say if you wanted to build a stainless or a blued or black Cerakoted one, right, $1,500 for a 16 inch lever gun with wood furniture, $1,500, right? And then you're looking at adding the Ranger Point Precision stuff. So now you're at another, and remind you that this was included in my machine work. So, but if you was to put this lever on there, you're looking at another $150. So you're looking at, you know, almost $800 total for the Ranger Point Precision stuff, as far as butt stock, lever, extended hammer, your port, you know, front rail. You're looking at almost another $800, right? To add on top of that $1,500. So you're at $2,300. Right? So you're at $2,300. And then you start adding all your other stuff. So if you want to go off and say, for example, I think the scope was around $300. I probably have $150 in mounts. Then I have another $250 in, we'll say $100 in mount. We'll just do simple math here, but $300, $250, so $550, $650, you know, $650 in your setup here, and then so we're another $650 on top, so now we're at $2,950, you know, and then you go off and throw in $160 lights. We're over $3,000, and that's not including the can or anything. We're already at over $3,000, right? So now let's look at it like this. I got a better quality metal gun. I went with, you do the math on it, 1,100, we'll go off for all my stuff. 1,100 plus another, we'll just say the $800. So now I'm at 1,900. And then I go off and throw, or no, hold up. Yeah. No, can't do that. 1,100. And then we'll say 600, because not including the lever, so 600. So I'm at $1,700, and then I go off and throw another 600 on it, right? And then another 150, all this. I mean, I'm well under the 3,000, well under it. So do what you want to do. But it makes more sense to go off and build one, and especially if you go off and say, I want to do it this way, and you have colorways you want to mess with and stuff like that, you can get exactly what you want instead of just buying a rifle and then slapping some furniture on it and then being like, all right, cool, and then still not be like, I'm not fully happy with it. I'd rather it look like this. For example, I'd like for it to look like an Instagram photo that all these people post of these badass lever guns, you know, something like that, you know, that you can call yours. So that's my opinion on it. That's why I did what I did, right? So this is the route I went. I'm happy with it. I like it. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, I got less than $3,000 in it, and I've been offered well over $3,000 for it and turned it down just because I built it for me. I built it exactly how I wanted it, and I don't want to sell it. So it's what I like. But that's what I have. As far as my build and everything that I did, I believe I gave some pretty good information, maybe not. But as far as going into detail on what I went with and everything, I think I, went over everything. So that's where we're at with it. I plan on doing more videos. I have quite a few things that I can go over on what I did and how I went with it and everything like that. So that'll be my plan for the next few videos. I hope everybody liked this. If you did, please subscribe, like, share it. If you didn't, I don't give a shit. You ain't got to watch my shit. So, but still leave a comment. Say, hey, I think you're stupid and I don't think you know what you're talking about. Maybe. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings none. I mean, I'm a fat piece of shit who likes to dump a shit ton of money into his gun collection. So, won't hurt my feelings at all. I learned a long time ago not to give a shit what anybody thinks of you. So, but why I want to do this was my personality is just how I am. A lot of my inspirations and a lot of the guys that I follow, and just because I like their content and I'm sort of the same type of person as they are, is like Dirty Kid, Fort Knox podcast, 1911 Syndicate. Those are guys I enjoy watching and everything. I like their content. So, check them out. See, that's sort of how my attitude is and how, how my content will be over time, getting into this. So, I'm not in this to get a whole lot of subscribers or make a ton of money off of this. I don't need to make money off of this. This is more so just, I watch them guys and think the content they put out is cool and funny and everything else, and that's what I really want to do, is just sort of make content like that. I'm not in it for the money. I don't care if I make a single cent off here. The only way that making money off of this benefits me at all is literally to buy more guns to be able to do this type of content. That's it. It would allow me to go off and buy some shit that someone might want to review on or ask me my thoughts on or something like that. It allows me to go out and just, instead of pissing my hard money away, just be able to buy something so I could review it for y'all. So that's where I'm at with it. I really just want to make good content and be funny with it and fuck off and all of that, and hope we have a good time. My biggest thing with this is I just want people to get out there and build stuff, enjoy what they like. I think we've been held down for a lot of years as the gun community, just because if you were pro-gun, the big bad Democrats would want to come get you and everything else. So I think it's getting a whole lot better now. So that's all I really have. Just wanted to make a cool video as my first one and go over my build. We'll get into more builds later on that I've done. And like I said, if you like the video, subscribe, give it a like, give it a share. If you didn't like it, leave a comment and say, hey, I think you're fucking stupid and I think you should quit YouTube. I mean, I ain't gonna give a shit. I'm not gonna pay attention to what you say. For me, if there's really no interaction and you know it isn't getting a lot of views or something like that, and I feel like it's a waste of my time, I'll probably give it up. But if I can put out useful information before someone goes and dumps a shit ton of money into something and not like it, then that's what I'll try to do. That's sort of the whole point of me going over this build first. Is there's a lot of people wanting to get into doing these tactical lever builds, and I don't want people to waste money on shit. So that's what I have. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If not, whatever, that's your opinion. And y'all stay safe out there. Have a good one.